The moment I stopped blaming racism for all of my problems, I stopped having so many damn problems. As a matter of fact, when I stopped blaming the white man or the system of white supremacy for where I was in life, was the moment I started to gain a little bit of traction, then a lot of bit of traction that compounded and it became eventual success, at least in my eyes at that point, right? Now, during this time, I was around 19, 20, 21 years old. And I was making an identity shift. I was getting out of a very dysfunctional lifestyle, of addiction and, being in the streets or whatever it was. Don't got to get into the weeds of it because it's not something I glamorize or glorify in any sort of way. But when I got out of that, I was looking for a sense of purpose, belonging, identity. And so the easiest thing for me to attach to was this so-called black identity, right? Pan-Africanism and things of that nature. I got into the Dr. Umarfication. Umarification. The brother always got to say things 3 times, right? Umarification of things. I found myself wearing the damn dashikis and, having a long ass African chain just to show everybody. It was actually not a chain, it was like a rosary type of thing, right? But this is the way that I was now portraying myself like a damn caricature in order to show that I was down, that I was with the cause, right? This is before I had my complete quote unquote red pill experience, not that red pill, right? But awakening to the reality that I was on this democratic plantation, that I had essentially believed in things for the simple basis that, I was told to. I was programmed or conditioned to believe these things. These weren't actual truths or facts, but instead I was just going off a program. Before that moment or before I had that great awakening in my life, I was fixated on this idea that the reason why I was not succeeding was somebody else. And the easiest thing for me to attach to was race, right? As a young black man in America, I was told that it was near impossible to succeed. And I would look around me and I would see scarce examples of success. Now, of course, I had confirmation bias, so I could only see what I wanted to see, right? Because if I looked at Tyler Perry, Oprah, this one, that one, they didn't count. They were excluded, right? If I saw the multitudes of black professors, of black executives, of black doctors, even black doctor I have myself, that was not even in the paradigm. No, but that's different. Why was it different? Because it didn't fit my narrative. And so I was fixated on the ism. And this message can go for any ism, all isms, right? This is racism, sexism. Well, homophobia ism is not an ism, but we could throw an ism there. It goes for misogyny and even misandry. There's now, the reverse, and it is real. Misandry is real. There's a lot of man-hating energy out there, right? But for you to blame that thing as the reason why you cannot succeed, or even worse off, the reason why you failed. Because I see folks who are grown folks who have now lived a life and they're so jaded off of life, right? They are so deeply jaded and they've gone through their life saying, it's hard for me as a black person. It's going to be 10 times harder for me to get, just the scraps of what the white man is getting. Mind you, this is in modern day. I'm not talking about, 1920s democratic Jim Crow law. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, antebellum slavery. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about modern day. We're still hearing these sorts of things. If only I was not a black man, I would have got hired here. Then I would have been in this and this position. Well, guess what? And this for white, black, I don't give a damn, right? Either side. You could be a white person saying, if I was not white, I would have got this position. Yes, there's a lot of hatred, animosity, and racism going towards white folks. I speak on these things. But if you're going to blame that, let's put this into perspective. If you're going to succeed because you are somebody who's that driven, that ambitious, whatever, nothing in all of life can stop an individual whose mind is made. I don't give a damn what you tell me. I've seen folks come from destitute third world countries with my own eyes, come from little nothingness in gutters, in the socialist, the bane of existence in the middle of Zimbabwe, scrape themselves into a situation where they're now thriving. And this is a conversation we like to overlook, right? Well, but those foreigners, well, they had a leg up because they didn't have to go through slavery. Oh, hold up. They came from the modern slavery. They some of these folks are coming from communist hellholes. The Soviet Union set a communist hellhole environments, and within a generation are able to create significant amounts of wealth. I'm not saying this to shame anybody who may have a history of slavery, etc. I'm saying that we all have the capability. I don't view you as somebody who is lesser than. I don't see you as somebody who can't make it happen. That's why I have these conversations on a daily basis. Is because I actually believe in you. I believe in all of us. I believe we all have the potential and the capacity to become all that we can be. But when we hold an ism, that ism becomes the very thing that stops. It it is the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is not the system. It's not white supremacy. It's not, it's not the system of whatever. It's not this politics or this politician, or it's the glass ceiling is the belief system. I always say it's not the system out there, it's the system in here. It's not the system of white supremacy, it's a system of beliefs that we hold. And that keeps you landlocked. It keeps you stuck in the very same place. There are folks who won't even do business with somebody that they don't look like or won't be willing to get advice from. To hell with business. They are not willing to get advice from somebody who does not look like them. And yet that person could very well have a piece of information that would change their life. And you're so fixated on, well, race, race, race. You're not even realizing this person actually doesn't care that much. They actually don't care that much. My girl brought this to my awareness and it blew my mind the other day. Shout out to her. She's a genius. But she said, it's incredible because she came up, she's mixed race. And so throughout her life, or mixed ethnicity, because really we're all humans, so there's no mixing of the race technically. But she grew up basically, more connected to her African side because that was the one that was more prevalent. That's the one that was, kind of more obvious, I guess you would say, in some of the features and things of that nature. Even though you could see she's mixed, you still saw that quite prevalent. And so that became obviously a reason to look at the other side and say, well, at least I'm accepted here. Then she realized, wait, I'm not really accepted here. They just see me as, well, like we claim you, but you're still not one of us. And she came to realize later in life that, well, the white folks, which is the other side of her, they just never really brought it up. They wanted to be cool with her, wanted to be friends or whatever it was. Sure, you have some bad seeds on any side, but they just didn't talk about it. And so it's this thing of, just because the people don't make that the main thing, right? They're not so fixated on race. It's like a presidential candidate. Oh, he's not talking about race all day long. He doesn't care about black people, Hispanic people, etc. No, he just maybe is looking at the grand picture of everybody, right? The person I fear most is the one who is fixated to say, well, this is the thing we do for these people, and these are my people. No. That means you're not going to take care of everybody, right? Obama, he was for the alphabet people. He was not for the American people. He's for the alphabet folks. Joe Biden, or at least the ones behind him, was for the elite, the establishment, was for the government. You understand me? It was for the politicians, not even the government. Was for the politicians, was for the crony politicians in that deep state cesspool, right? For the swamp creatures. I believe DJT, which is why he got my vote. Not just because, oh, master. No, he got my vote because he was the first one in a long time who said, hey, America first. Hey, y'all get first dibs, right? The first dibs on your own money, your own resources, whatever it is, right? We're going to make sure that you're taken care of first. Simple as that. So a person who has a mentality of we can all work together, I'm not going to make your race a thing, is actually the least racist individual. The one who's fixated on it and can only work on the behalf of it, and it needs it to be at the forefront, right? This is colored, diversity, equity, and man, to hell with all that. Are you somebody who I can build with? Are you somebody who I can trust, etc., right? Do you have the information that can move me forward? Simple as that. So when you have the ism stands in the way of whatever it is that you want to build or create for yourself. All you need is one excuse to not be successful. All you need is one reason to succeed, and all you need is one reason not to in order to stop yourself. And my life is built upon the basis of re-engineering my belief system to strip away all excuses My mama was this. My daddy was this or not this, right? These people did this to me. My ex did this. My ex was this type of person and they showed up at this type. They were narcissists. I'm not going to point the finger to anybody else when it comes to my decisions, my life, and the outcomes that I've now gotten as a byproduct of that. I went through and unpacked my childhood. I dealt with those things in the necessary way and processed them in the necessary way. And I continue to do so in the real way. I speak my mind. I tell the truth. That bothers me. I have a problem with that, etc. But I'm not going to carry that with me. I'm not going to make it the reason why I don't become all that God intended me to be. And there's folks who talk about, oh, they believe in God, but then they're fixated on racism. So you believe God is bigger than racism is crazy to me. That's insane to me. You believe that folks in the 1800s and 1900s who came out of slavery or in the midst of Jim Crow, who were able to create success for themselves, you believe that, they were not black? Do they not count as a part of the fold? Right? I mean, the first millionaire out of the quote unquote African American community was a black woman. A dark-skinned black woman, right? She wasn't a high yellow. No, she was a dark-skinned black woman by the name of Madam C.J. Walker. And she created product from her own gifting, her own skill set. She used her marketing abilities, her sales abilities, and she got it done in a time where to be black was hard and to be a woman was hard. And she still made that work. She still made that work, folks. We are in 2025, and if you are still using an ism to keep you in that stronghold, I promise you, I guarantee you will never be successful. And you'll only have yourself to blame for it. Like if I held myself in that position till this day, and all of what I'm now experiencing, the success I'm now experiencing never happened, I only have me to blame. I am the one who is the causal factor of where I now am every single time. I may be in situations where somebody calls me out of my name, right? Call me the N-word, they call me this, they call me that. But if I take that with me and use it as a reason to not move forward, to not take the risk necessary, to not take the step necessary to educate myself, whatever, I am to blame. Oh, but that's shaming yourself and we need to. No, I'm kind to myself. The kindest thing I can do, the most loving thing I can do for myself and to myself is to not allow myself to be swayed by petty things, by things that truly don't matter in the long term. But racism exists. Yeah, a lot of things exist. There's sexism on both sides. There's racism on every side. Those things exist. Is it going to be something that I allow to keep me from success? No, it's not. Am I going to allow myself to get to the end of my life and say that my fixation with an idea is what kept me from living a fulfilled life? The reason why my kids are now going to have to do a GoFundMe, to bury me, as opposed to not even having to worry about that. That they got to worry about scraping together dollars instead of having an inheritance to their name. We talk crazy about nepotism or whatever. I hope I can create some level of nepotism for my children, to create opportunities for them. Of course, I want them to be the most qualified that they can be to strive for excellence, but I hope I can leave behind that legacy and not have the reliance upon them. Now I'm old, now I'm relying on my children. That's wrong. That's dead ass backwards. It is backwards. So yeah, I'm done with the isms, folk. I'm done with the isms. I want to be as successful as I can be in this life. I want to be all that I was born to be in this lifetime. And the only way to do exactly that is to stop blaming the isms.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation.